Did you know that choosing the wrong seat on a flight can ruin your entire trip? From no leg room to noisy neighbors or even getting stuck without overhead space. Your seat matters more than you think. In this video, I'm revealing which plane seat is actually the best, which ones to avoid at all costs, and some insider hacks that'll make your next flight smoother than ever. Let's jump in. Tip 1. Window seat pros and cons. Why are window seats great? They're great for takeoff and landing views. You can lean on a wall to sleep, fewer interruptions, and less germ exposure. But beware, they're hard to get up mid-flight. It disturbs a lot of people when you have to get up across to go to the bathroom. It could take a little longer for you to deplane. If you're like me and I don't have to use the bathroom, I rarely use the bathroom on a flight, so a window seat's perfect for me. I just want to lay down and watch my Netflix and not get disturbed. When you sit in the aisle seat, people have to get up and use the bathroom. I was just on a flight coming back from Peru, and the person, I tell you not, they're a couple. They both kept getting up to go use the bathroom in the middle of flight. It was a 5-hour flight. I promise you, I stood up about 6 or 7 times. With a window seat, you don't have to deal with that. You could be their problem. If you love quiet flights and killer views, the window might work. But what if you're all about flexibility and freedom? Tip 2, aisle seats, pros and cons. Why aisle seats are great? I think aisle seats are great for people who have to use the bathroom a lot. Like, for example, my father, he uses the bathroom a lot during flights. So anytime we get on a flight together, he always says, hey, put me in the aisle seat so I can get up and use the bathroom without disturbing anyone. So if you're one of those people who have to get up, go, blow their nose or do anything like that, take the aisle seat. I personally, again, like before I said before, I don't like the aisle seat. I'm not a disturbance and I don't like to get up rarely when flying. But if you like to stand up, you like to stretch your legs, especially in these long flights, I would suggest you get an aisle seat. So aisle seats are great for if you have to use the restroom, stretch your legs, and get access to maybe a different relative on a flight. If you thought the aisle seat was the gold standard, just wait. The next option might make you think twice. Tip 3, why the middle seat is the worst seat. It's tough. Me personally, I dislike the middle seat and I prefer not to get, even in our flight, I don't want the middle seat. You're between two people, especially if the people are talking between you and you just want to watch your Netflix. So you have to sit between these guys who are awkwardly speaking over you while you're just trying to ignore the conversation and watch Netflix. So I try to stay away from the middle seat as much as possible. The only way I'll do a middle seat is if I'm with family or I'm traveling with young children or with elderly. That's the only way I'll do a middle seat. And I got to be related to these people or I got to love these people. I do understand middle seats are much cheaper than the aisle or the window seats. And sometimes you just get unlucky and you book the flight last minute and you get a middle seat. If that does happen, good luck because you're going to need it. But the one good thing about the middle seat is you get 2 armrests. So take advantage of that. Middle seats might just be your last resort. But what if I told you a new airline policy could make it even worse? Tip 4, United Airlines Wilma boarding system. What it means: window, middle, aisle boarding. Aisles now boarding last on United Airlines. What does that mean for you? If you're boarding last because you're in the aisle seat, now you're going to be late to the compartments on top of your head. And what does that mean? They're going to check your personal item or your carry-on luggage under the plane, which we both don't want that to happen. So if you fly United Airlines, I never fly United Airlines, so this doesn't really affect me. But if you do, be aware of that. But to avoid all this, just make sure you pay for priority seating. Boarding order isn't the only hidden factor. Let's just talk about where you sit on a plane. Tip 5, front versus the back versus the middle of the plane. So if you're like me and you just want to get off the plane fast and go to immigration or just go to your luggage or just go home, you need to choose the front of the plane. Me personally, the front of the plane are usually first class or priority seating, which can get a little bit expensive. So I like to go a little bit behind that, which is about between row 9, depending on the plane, to row 15. Those you will have to pay more for the seats, but you can still get off the plane a little bit earlier than if you're in the back. Usually if you're on a big plane, you'll have 2 carts. And when you're in about that 11 to 15 row, like I was stating before, you can get the food early on. You can get your cranberry juice and a cookie. And another pro for you boarding the plane first, you get to get on a plane before everyone else does. You have to wait in a long line and you'll have easy access to the luggage upstairs. So the number one pro for being in the front is you board first and you deplane first. Now for the back row, I personally used to have a fear of flying. Now I've flown so much, I gotten used to the turbulence. So when I did fly, I always chose seats in the back because A lot of people don't know this. When you sit in the back, you have a higher percentage of surviving a plane crash. If you're way in the back, you're less to hear the engine noise. As you know, the engine noise are usually in the middle to mid front of the plane. And if you don't mind getting off the plane last, especially if you're not going through immigration or you have immigration in a certain country, usually if I'm flying back into the United States, I don't mind sitting way back in the plane to save money because I already know I have global entry. So when I get there, I can just walk on through. So if you don't mind waiting and being all the way in the back and you don't really care about waiting extra 10, 15 minutes, then take a seat in the back. Now let's speak about the seats in the middle of the plane. This could be a hit or miss. It all depends on you. I would say there's a lot of emergency exit seats in the middle, and a little bit of the front mid, and like the back front, if that makes any sense. So there'll be emergency exit seats, which I prefer to sit at the emergency exit seats because it's not a first class seat, but you get a lot of leg room and you get a lot of space. But there are some things with the middle seats that you should worry about. Usually the seats in the middle are the closest to the engine. So you get a lot of engine noise. So make sure you have a pair of noise canceling headphones with you so you want to hear all of it. And the thing about sitting in the middle is the stewardess are going to come late with your food and drinks. So just know you have to be a little bit patient and wait a little bit. Location just isn't about peace and quiet. Let's avoid the worst seats on the entire plane. The very last row on the plane are the absolutely worst seats because they don't recline and they're next to the bathroom. So you will smell a bunch of stuff that you just don't want to. Those are my least favorite. And a lot of people will line up next to you to use the bathroom and you will hear all the flight attendants conversations and speaking on the radio and complaining about us on a plane. So I try my hardest to stay away from that very last seat on a plane. Other seats like the exit row, depending on the person, some people do not like the exit row because they don't want the added stress of if this plane does crash and I have to assist in helping the door. I don't think I can do that in that time. So if you know you're not one of those people, just don't sit in emergency exit seats. But me personally, those are my favorite seats. Also, all the way in the back of first class, right near the wall, are actually pretty terrible first class seats because when you're against that wall, again, just like the very last seat on a plane, you can't make it recline. So I choose to stick away from that. Tip 7, the exit row seat. So we spoke a little bit about the exit row seat. I'm going to tell you why I always choose the exit row seat. You get a lot of extra leg room. You're less likely to sit by someone who is traveling with a child. The exit row seats are actually the coldest seats on the airplane, but they might cost a little bit extra, but they will never cost as much as sitting in the front seat or sitting in first class. So it's like getting a first class seat, but not sitting in the front and not paying that crazy amount. If you want a quiet flight and minimal interruptions, this next hack is for you aisle lovers. Tip 8, the center aisle hack is the best kept secret. Have you ever traveled on one of those planes out of the country on a 12-hour flight where there's just a bunch of seats and there's a lot of people? Usually I like to sit in those seats where it's 4 in the middle, 3 on the left, 3 on the right, because there's 2 aisle seats. So depending on who you're traveling with or if you're traveling with people, they have 2 options, whether to exit left or exit right. So sitting on the aisle, those seats I actually like to do because especially on long flights, I'm going to have to use the bathroom and I don't want to wake anybody up. So I'd rather somebody wake me up to go to the bathroom than the other way around. And also, if you have long legs and you just want to move them out in the aisle a bit, that is something I like to do as well. But just know the flight attendants will tap that leg when it's time to move the cart through. By now, you probably have a seat in mind, but what if where you sit matters less than how you fly? If you guys are liking this video, do me a favor, click the like and subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Cam Travels. Back to the video. Tip 9, the seat swap dilemma. Ever had someone walk up to your row, smile sweetly and ask, would you mind switching seats so I can assist with my partner, child, etc.? And guess what? Their seat is somehow always worse than yours. Before you say yes, consider this. You picked your seat for a reason. If it took strategic planning, 10 Reddit threads, and 2 cups of coffee to choose it, don't give it up for free. Unless it's a crying baby situation. Then maybe, just maybe, for the sake of peace, you should do it. Tip 10, seat back pockets, the Bermuda Triangle of flights. Let's talk about the mysterious black hole in front of you, the seat pockets. Sure, it seems innocent, a great place to stash your phone, passport, and sanity. But be aware, the pocket has swallowed more AirPods, AirPads, phones than airline peanuts. Pro tip, limit what you have stuffed in there unless you enjoy diving elbow deep in search and rescue missions during landing. Also, please be aware where your belongings are at all times, especially as in passports, credit cards, and valuables. I've definitely lost a ring and a watch on some flights before, and it's not a fun situation. Tip 11, don't be that passenger. You know who I'm talking about. The barefoot, toe wiggler, the loud talker with no earbuds, or the person who brings a tuna sandwich on board. Please don't be that guy. Be cool. We're all just trying to survive this metal tube in the sky. Choose your seat and your behavior wisely. Final thoughts and travel mojo. Whether you're booking a window seat to vibe with the clouds or locking in that aisle for the ultimate leg freedom, the real travel flex is knowing that you need the most comfort. Comfort, convenience, control. Your perfect seat is out there, probably in row 12, not too close to the toilets and far away from the one guy who still thinks it's okay to FaceTime without headphones. If this video saved you from a rookie seating mistake, smash that like button and let me know your worst seat story in the comments. And hey, if you want to know why you should never wear lace-up boots or offensive t-shirts to the airport, check out this video right here. Make sure you guys travel safely. My name is Cam Morris, and I'll see you in the skies. I've got some awesome channels to share with you. First up, Cam Morris, where I tackle debt, finances, and smart money moves. If you love traveling, check out Cam Travels, where I vlog my adventures around the world, just me and my backpack. Next, there's Cam Unplugged, my reaction channel, where I give unfiltered takes on trending topics and all the wild discussions happening now. And finally, Cam 365, daily vlogs with meal prepping, gym motivation, and lifestyle inspiration to keep you going. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button in all my channels and join me on this incredible journey.